Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I am your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I'm your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot. What?
And I'm your Cobra intern, the good grief, the comedian, the bear, codename Legion Cub.
And as you have seen and heard, it is Stone Cold Steve Austin Day here live on the Needless Things YouTube channel. That's right, it's 3/16, and you only have a few hours left to get your very own Audible 3/16 t-shirt. I'm a big fan of this shirt. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, if you're listening, you missed it. Sorry about your damn luck. But I really like how this turned out with the little black Audible Interlude logo next to the 6. It's a really cool looking shirt. So 4 hours left to buy that shirt. Go to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Check the stories. The link is right there. You can get yourself an Audible 316 shirt. It will never be available again unless we happen to land on another 316. But then I'll do a different style or color or something. I'll do something different for it. So this shirt will never be available again.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Welcome to the show. We're going to have some fun. We've got regular G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe adjacent news. We're going to do all the stuff you love, but we do have a special segment that is Stone Cold centric later in the show. So we're going to have fun tonight. Looking forward to getting some comments from the chat. I'm sure everybody's got some Stone Cold memories. And actually, that's after we get through our initial opening stuff. That's the first thing I want to talk about. But before we get to that, we also have other merch available in the TeePublic store. Go to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Check the pinned stories, and you will find a link to our TeePublic store. You can get shirts and hats and shorts and all kinds of other stuff. And if you wear a piece of merch to a live event and we see you, we'll give you a free piece of swag, depending on what time of year it is. So get your Audible Interlude merch, and but wait for a sale. Can't wait for a sale with the Audible 316 shirt. Got to get on that one right now. But everything else, feel free to wait for a sale. Our next live stream is March the 30th. Put it on your calendar. And that's going to be the last regular type show for a little while, because we've got all kinds of weird stuff schedule wise going on through April. More on that later, but that'll be for a few weeks. That will be the last just completely normal live stream, unless a gimmick comes up between now and then that we have to adhere to, in which case
I like how you say normal, as if any of
normal
our
for
episodes
us.
are normal.
Normal for us. Let's see here. What else have we got to cover before we move along? Follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Click the follow button. Leave a 5-star review. But most importantly, share our shows, whether it's the YouTube show or whether it's the audio podcast. Get on social. Share the shows. It's the only way that we can grow and get more followers and do more awesome things. Needless Things YouTube channel. You're watching us live right now. Lots of reviews on there. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, my review of the new Fresh Monkey Fiction Cops and Crooks Bulletproof goes up, and it is awesome. If you're watching, you can see I've got he's not a good cop because he's got a smoking weapon.
Hey,
awesome.
With the super chat. Hi, I've missed you guys. Cobra Law Officer rocks. He does indeed, and I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, thank you so much for contributing. If you support us in the super chat, everything there goes back into the show. So we appreciate any kind of support that way. Goes into hosting and everything else. But yeah, this bulletproof figure is just killer. It's absolutely awesome. Check out the full review tomorrow or Tuesday on the Needless Things YouTube channel. I got a couple other things going up this week as well. The Joe Divers will end up being next week. Oh, and I also got I've got a whole pile of O-rings over here, which is a nice problem to have. You know, when we started the show, I don't think we necessarily imagined that we would end up with just stacks of O-rings
Swimming in
coming in
O-ring
the mail.
figures that I haven't even opened yet.
Yeah, well, and the problem with me is I've got to review them, so I can't just sit down and open them. I've got to have the time to do the review. But yeah, this is the newest wave.
Especially if you're doing the unboxings. I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah. That's the newest wave of Reaction Plus. And then I also got the 2 new Skeletron figures.
Nice.
And this Yeti, like the Zargonaut looks really cool, but this Yeti with all the translucent parts, just killer. I can't wait to open that one up. So those 2 will probably be next week, and they'll I guess they're just going to push Reaction Plus back a week, but you know, that's okay. That's what happens. So all those reviews on the Needless Things YouTube channel. I mentioned our next live stream is March the 30th, and you will be able to catch our review of G.I. Joe number 20 this Wednesday on the Needless Things YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. So yeah, I can't remember if I mentioned it or not. I got the G.I. Joe divers, and they're worth $26 or whatever it was. $26. That's exactly what they're worth.
Yeah, I passed on them at that price when I saw them at the Target when they were on sale, but yeah, I just have
and they're weird figures to display because when you've got somebody like a Wetsuit or a Torpedo or even an Eels, as we thoroughly discussed on last week's episode, like you kind of feel like, okay, I'll get them on the shelf. Like they fit in a way of standing on the shelf, whereas these divers are just weird, just standing on the shelf. So what do I do? Do I hang them up? What do I do with these guys? I don't know.
Just get an aquarium and have yourself a little sea battle.
Oh yeah, I've got plenty of room for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a mobile. I'm going to get some coat hangers and make a mobile with the divers and Eels and Wetsuit and Torpedo, and just have all the swimming folks.
There you go.
In somewhere. Maybe put a little like blue saran wrap thing around them. They look like they're in the water. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, they were worth that price. You guys have anything shipping or coming in anytime soon?
I got my pile of loot that also had the Bulletproof in there. Highly recommend that figure. He's so great. I finally got my Operation Monster Force Chatsworth. And thanks to the Facebook group, even though I really didn't have time to respond, I managed to get my Royal Guard from the Target website.
Nice.
So, great figure. I'm very much so looking forward to the retro card version. I love all the accessories. I really do. But I need a stripped down version as well.
What do you think that would look like?
I think it's the basic figure without the extra armor pieces or head. I think, Mindbender still came with a cloth cape, so I think they still do that. He just doesn't come with all of this.
But have they released a retro cardback version that was just a stripped down re-release without changing up the deco or the colors or something?
Mindbender was that way. I mean,
he had the Cobra on the back of his cape, and his colors are different.
Oh yeah, well slightly different, but the figure was close enough. But really, the main thing was just stripping out all the deluxe.
Well, I ask that because that guard. What if they make it a slightly different shade of red or something, so it doesn't?
But see, that doesn't freak me out like it does you guys, because
I would actually prefer that, because I would want it to look more like bright and cartoony.
Yeah, they're
Did
just
you get
different
any?
cards.
Noel, did you grab one of these yet?
No, I did not.
So you
I
may
haven't even
just do
seen
your
'em.
waiting game and just wait and see if they do a retro card back.
Yeah,
Which
but I also missed out
we
on.
must clarify. We're not taking that for granted. I don't think it's necessary for them to do it because there've been so many of these. I think they'll probably get down close to retro card back prices at some point. They have
Yeah,
not been hard to find.
Yep.
Well, for people in Atlanta, down here they still haven't hit any of the shelves because
I haven't seen them in the 3 Targets I've been into, but I also, have not been looking that often.
But yeah, I just want to make it clear because it's one of those things where now I think classified talk is always like, well, I'll wait for the retro card back as if it's a given for every figure that comes out. And I want to make it clear we don't think that, but we'll speculate about what it might be. And yeah, any troop builder should come out. Okay. Realistically, any troop builder should come out at around $20, which is about what all these figures should freaking cost. But that's not the world we live in. So, everybody cross your fingers and hope for that $30 version.
Yeah.
Because that's what it'll be by the time they come out. Yeah, actually, no, here's what's going to happen is by the time they get around to a retro card back Royal Guard, it's going to be $43 anyway. And then you're not going to get all the extra parts the way things are going. Because I'm telling you right now, oil prices affect toy prices.
Yeah.
Not just because of transporting them, but because what's plastic made with?
Yep.
Petroleum products.
Well, I want to throw a couple of the chat comments about the Royal
Oh,
Guard
please do.
in here because White Mike Vegeta says currently at 4 guards, was planning to stop at 6, but 10 is looking really good. And now all I can think of is
you, buddy.
80s sitcom Just the 10 of Us, except it's all Royal Guards and the one heavyset comedian guy.
And Heather Langenkamp just for kicks.
And Yorktown Joe says, I'm with Legion Cub on this one. Missed at Target, and my Target sold them out in less than a week. I'm thinking maybe Big Bag Toy Store might be the bet for me. Did Big Bag add more? Because I know when I got mine when I got my pre-order in for them, they were labeled as sold out. And then lastly, friend of the pod, Brett White says, I'm learning which Targets have good figures and which ones don't around here. If it's a short aisle, bad Joe selection. If it's a tall aisle, good Joe selection. Well, Brett, I am 5'6", so every single aisle is a tall aisle.
I don't know if I've ever noticed the difference between the aisle heights at different Targets.
Cobra Law Royal Guard is currently available to pre-order from Big Bad.
Nice.
But Amazon says see all buying options. But I mean, they usually will get more stock in once the item actually arrives to them. And I don't think anybody but Target brick and mortar has gotten it yet. Well, and Target online. So as of now, it looks like they'll be plentiful. Was that it comment-wise?
That's it.
Then we will move on to the news. This is actually big news. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me try that again. We will move on to the news. Okay. So big news coming up in April, all month long, as we did with the silent missions last year. We have a new batch of G.I. Joe Real American Hero silent missions featuring Cobra operatives. We've got Baroness, Crimson Guard, Zartan, Copperhead, and Firefly all being featured in their own one-shot issues. And I've got a busy week, you guys, because the remainder of this week, I'm doing interviews every day with people working on these comics. Jam-packed. And I'm not going to drop names yet because, I don't like to talk about the interview until it's done. But very excited for these. I thought the silent missions were a lot of fun last year, and I think it's a good concept to bring back. for the Cobra side of things. It makes sense. It makes sense. Are there any of these, have you guys had a chance to take a look at the creative teams or even just the characters on these? Are there any that kind of stand out to you as potentially more exciting?
I haven't necessarily thought any are going to be more exciting because of the creative team. It's more of the character choices. I'm really excited to see what they do with Copperhead and the Crimson Guard issue. The troop builder. I'm intrigued.
Well, and these have, just to run down the list, Baroness is from Declan Shalvey, Joel Jones, and Mike Spicer. And I apologize if Declan is actually pronounced Declan or Declan or something else. I don't know that I've heard his name pronounced before. Crimson Guard is by Gabriel Hardman and Matt Hollingsworth. Zartan is by Tom DeFalco and Pat Olive. Copperhead's by Howard Porter and Romulo Fajardo Jr. And Firefly is by George Fornes and Dave Stewart. So they've got some powerhouse creative teams on these, but I think it speaks to our faith in Skybound and what they do with G.I. Joe, and that we know, like, we're going to, like, I'm going to get excited about Zartan. I don't care who's writing it. I want to see what they're doing with this concept with Zartan. But of course, Firefly is my favorite out of these, and is the one that I think probably most lends himself to a point to the silent concept. Now, I fully expect the end will be, you know, maybe right before an explosion or something. But he definitely makes sense with the infiltration. So look for these in April, starting on April 1st with Baroness. Next up, Grindhouse Toys World War Hell Backer Kit is open. So you can go in and put orders in for all of the figures that were offered as part of the Kickstarter, as well as some items that have been added since the Kickstarter closed. They were going to be, and I might be misspeaking, but not by much. I think they were going to be stretch goals, and they didn't quite make it into this Kickstarter. It's not that they didn't achieve this. It's not that Chris didn't achieve the stretch goals. It's that they didn't get added in time. So he went ahead and said, well, I got to get these figures out. So right now you can pre-order the Harbinger of Doom, the Steamboat Willie figure, which we talked about in detail in my last interview with Chris. The Devil's Rejects Troop Builder, which is, well, and I guess I'll talk for anybody that's listening. I mean, you need to go look at pictures of these because they're insane. But the Harbinger of Doom has a Steamboat Willie like outer shell type thing, and then underneath it's this cloven hoofed Satan demon thing with a big scythe made of bones and stuff. And then the Devil's Rejects Troop Builder figure is a more traditional military look, tons of accessories and multiple portraits. So you can buy lots of them and build up your troops. And then finally, something that I was going to pass on because, my gosh, I just don't need more accessories to throw in a drawer. But it's the World War Hell accessory pack that comes in this great Nintendo style packaging. And if you notice, has a couple of accessories that look an awful lot like the old Nintendo blaster, as well as a flamethrower, a very roadblock looking, lots of interesting deco and stuff on these. A rifle with a removable bayonet, which is a nice touch. So I'm going to have to get this. And as of now, I guess I'm going to be a completist on this line anyway. So check out, I mean, you know how to use the Google World War Hell Backer Kit, and you can go in and pre-order all of this. And Chris is going to be at Toylanta March 27th, 28th, and 29th with an all-new booth setup that is unbelievable. And he's going to have a couple of new factory like test shot type things, working models on display there that you'll be able to get an up close and personal look at. So be sure and stop by the World War Hell booth at Toylanta. Got an update on the Toy Collector's Wish Book Special Edition G.I. Joe. Basically just a progress update. There was a lot of verbiage in this. You can go check it out on their Facebook page, or if you're in the Kickstarter, you can go take a look at it. But the pages are looking beautiful. He's doing a feature now where the sub teams are going to have, each one is going to have a feature page. So it's like a Sears Wish Book photo, but just of Tiger Force or just of Night Force or Iron Grenadiers or whatever, which I think is a great idea. And something that I didn't realize he was going to be doing, because I don't think he's done that before, has he?
He has first his like.
Oh, he's done it for the posters?
Yeah, I've got his Tiger Force poster. I was actually looking because I thought it was right there, but I must have moved it.
So I'm glad those are being included in the book. This is going to be another, to me, must-have G.I. Joe resource, just because I enjoy his photography and the way he composes these pictures so much. It really is like flipping through an old school Wish book. Another big info dump from 3D Joe's progress on the field guides, which are the small portable references for action figures, file cards, etc. I just thought it was funny to look at this and realize he's just using a cell phone to take these archival quality pictures. And the fact that in this image is that skydiver that I freaking want so bad. But just cool to see the setup. And again, check out the 3D Joe's Facebook page, or if you're following Operation Recall, I think the updates might be cross-posted there as well. But if you're following the Kickstarter, sit down and read that email, because it's an interesting look at the process and how everything is going with that. Speaking of Mr. Metaxas, Operation Recall Wave 2, supposed to be shipping in May. You can pre-order these figures right now from the Operation Recall. Again, use the Google. We're all grown-ups. But in this assortment, you have Soul Eagle, Bear Claw, Bengal, and Ritello?
Ritello, yeah.
Ritello? I ordered Soul Eagle and Bengal. Bear Claw, cool concept, not for me. And Ritello, I'm going to wait and buy one in person and get him to sign it. So excited for those, but I do hope, Kristian, do you remember if we talked about this or not? Didn't you get one of the, or no, wait, maybe Noel, you got it. The, that one trooper.
No,
you got him.
General Mortefero.
Does he look super glossy?
He's pretty glossy. Well, at least like the red details are very glossy. The black is pretty glossy, but not as glossy as the red.
The trooper I got, and I mentioned this in the review, it's really glossy. And I'm hoping that the other figures are not so glossy.
Like the gold is not glossy at all. It's a matte on his face. But you know, there's some of it is a little bit on the glossy side, which I don't mind as much, but
it's a bit too much for me. He looks like he was dipped in varnish or something. It's a lot. And then we've got some pre-orders tomorrow. Zanya and Professor Rotclaw both go up for pre-order tomorrow afternoon. And I mean, I'm in for both. I gotta have the dinosaur, gotta have Zanya, and I've got to see that chameleon in hand. I'm not excited about it, but I got to get it in hand to give it a fair judgment.
Yeah, I'm probably in for Zanya, depending on what Sticker Shock looks like tomorrow.
We know her price, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Was it $59? Or was it more?
So I was going to say $64.99, but I don't necessarily think that's right. Let me see if I can pull up in the notes real quick. You guys discuss something else amongst yourselves while I look back at this, because I think I've got this right here.
Kristian, are you
Well,
going? For
Nowhere Man Child is chiming in, asking, "Don't you think Rotclaw's head looks kind of like WWE Viscera?"
a much smaller version of Viscera.
Why can't I be like Stone Cold? Because people like you make me sick.
That's not the one I'm going to play, but that's fine.
Not.
That's hilarious. You know.
I was on the fence about Rot Gut, but that pose they have
Rot Gut
dinosaur in with his little dinosaur arms, like to be able to get surprise face dinosaur photos. I'm now leaning more towards I will have to pre-order him.
I've got to get the dinosaur. I have to. Professor Rotclaw is $51.99. And Noel, you were right. Zanya, whatever. Lasagna is $59.99.
All right.
Which is, both prices are too high. However, considering current prices, I think neither one is terrible. Like, compared to other things, I was more than happy to pay the $42.99 for the Royal Guard 4 times. So for these things, basing them against that.
If we think about it, Zanya is what, a $27 figure, $29 depending on what store you go to.
Right.
So
that's a $32
that is
roughly vehicle there.
To my eyes, that is not a $30 vehicle.
I'm trying to
understand where I understand where Hasbro is coming from with that price.
No, it's not a $30 vehicle.
No. Let's see. Oh, and we've got another one. Okay, I'm going to let you guys open up with this one. You start the conversation here because I'm curious we didn't really talk about it.
Well, yeah, this was when these popped up. I said, "Well, this is what everyone was really wanting for those." Sorry, we got a soundboard now. This is what we really wanted for that Rattler stretch goals there. Since we got them in the Sky Striker initially. Old ketchup and mustard there, but yeah, we have these are the Cobra ramp rats, the signal guys on the ground, but they also come for some reason with a porta-john. I don't know why, but it's just there to make you pay extra money for this pair of 2 figures.
I'm trying to justify it as an
and will you do
to the belt carrying case where you could only put a few figures in. I can't remember what it's called, but I think you have it, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for Joe.
Sitting right around here somewhere.
I've got both versions with the old logo and the newer logo.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Because they really re-released that a couple times throughout the years. Yeah, this is
kind of surprising. They never did just a blue Cobra one.
Yeah,
like why would you not?
They weren't into. I mean, yes, they did a lot of recolors back then, but they would do Tiger Force or whatever. But they didn't get the mileage out of the molds like they do now.
Well, they did certainly not the way they do now. But just thinking about the accessory kits where they would recolor the backpacks and the weapons and stuff, that seems like it would have been a no-brainer to get some Cobra carrying cases. But that's I guess that's what I'm asking. I think this is neat. Even if I had the Rattler, I don't know that I would get it. But what do you think that crate, how big do you think it is? What do you think it is? Does it open up and have a bunch of hooks and stuff for storage?
Well, when you see the packaging, those two figures are very small compared to the rest of the package. So I'm guessing that it's big enough for both those guys to stand in.
Huh. So you think that's actually for them to be, because I took it as they're, the guys directing the planes and stuff on, like, I don't see assault troops here, so I don't see them popping out of that thing.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't. And I think this would have been like, if this was two figures with a bunch of extra, little accessories thrown in, and they were selling it for $55 or whatever, I'd be like, okay, that's a 2-pack. That sounds like something that you would see as a, exclusive at Target or whatever, or Walmart. But yeah, I don't know why they threw in this giant box without any real explanation.
Oh,
It's
okay. Something
in
something
the
just
artwork
something just popped into my head. What if you're right? They and their accessories do all fit into that crate, and the Rattler drops them so they can clear the ground and help the Rattler land.
that sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, for sure. But there has to be some kind of logic here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, what if that crate was exactly like Spies Like Us? Like it's like it fits Hume and I can't ever remember. But anyway, yeah, what if it was that kind of crate?
Well, Wreckship says there's a promo picture showing the top opening for weapons storage and them looking down into it.
Oh.
That's
so
where they tossed the lotion for Baroness to put it on her skin.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if that's the case, then that box is way too big for what you get. But yeah,
we got to think all those accessories have got to be spaced out in there as well, because they're not all visible in the blister part.
Yeah. Yeah, this is I don't know.
Oh, here you go. Okay, hang on. I just found a let me see if I can share this. Hang on just a second. I just found the promo image.
I almost feel like this is something that they meant to probably release around the time the Rattler was coming out. It was shipping. Okay.
So I mean, maybe they'd fit in there if you tried real hard.
All right, so
that gives you an idea of the size.
Okay, so yeah, I guess it's for hauling stuff in. Looks like that's the back of a Stinger. So I don't know.
But I think it's a neat. Oh, here we go. Here's the other one. Hang on. I'll show this one too. Let's remove that. And we'll pull up that one.
Okay.
I will presume you don't have to fill that with sawdust if you don't want to. I will also assume that sawdust is not included in this product.
Right. But, if it was actually like detailed, it looked like it was sawdust inside with little like
places
cutouts
to put. Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be great.
So there it is. Not for me, but I do think it's going to do well. I think anybody that bought a Rattler is probably obligated to get this.
I'm not going to get it. I have a Rattler, but
well, you are not fulfilling your obligation to Sparkle Motion, Noel.
Did you read all the fine print, Noel?
Wait, we didn't hear Stone Cold.
You are completely pathetic.
That's what Stone Cold thinks about Noel not. All right. Sorry, Kristian. What were you saying?
Oh no, I said, did you not read the fine print, Noel?
You had to sign that contract for the Rattler. This is the first and last time we will have a soundboard like this. I just thought it would be stupid for Stone Cold Day. So don't worry. This distraction will not be here in the future. Or will it? All right. Sorry, everybody. One more. Man, that gong really goes on, doesn't it? One more thing before we move on. The Super 7 comic book Cobra Commander release that we still don't have a price point on, but they did drop this really cool ad for it today, making it look like a mail away type thing or a comic subscription, something along those lines. I love this ad. And did you notice the figure, as Super 7 tends to do, just completely new tooling? Like, I don't believe there's one part of that that's been used in other Cobra Commander figures. And I really like how subdued, it's funny because it feels like a bright comic booky color scheme, right? But it's actually like kind of subdued in a way.
Yeah.
The yellow isn't as bright as the Hasbro release of this was. The blue's a little bit different. And I really like the darker gray of the face shield.
Yeah, I'm gonna be curious as to what the price points are on this, because I really don't need a whole bunch of reprints of comics that I already have.
Right.
So if it's adding more than a couple bucks to the price, I don't know if I'll be able to justify them, even knowing how much I love these O-Ring Super 7 figures, but we'll see.
Well, that's what I wonder is, because I mean, these figures are already, we talked about this before, but these figures are already $25, which is pushing it. And I cannot imagine they're adding a comic book and this window box packaging for less than $5. And it's probably not just $5.
30 was the number that I estimated, but yeah, we'll see.
Kristian, what do you think?
I mean,
And where are you on these?
Originally, I was thinking 30. I feel like we all kind of said that in the initial conversations. And I just get torn when I think about the 8-inch McFarlane page punchers that come with comics. And there's not much of a price difference between them and the
Regular.
The regular DC Classics figures that he makes. So I don't know. I mean, where I'm at now with this figure is I am really hoping that Super 7 has, even like, it's not an exclusive, but they have some kind of push with a Target or a Walmart that these will be in the sort of collector areas, because I think, somebody walking down the aisle and seeing this with the comic and being like, oh, I remember that, I want to read it again. Like, $30 isn't necessarily cheap, but it's still enough to be sort of an impulse buy for someone that's hit with the nostalgia feels.
Well, and if they do get some kind of deal like that, which I would prefer Target to Walmart, certainly, but it is more likely that the price would be a little lower. And like you said, that casual, like, oh, that's cool, I'll get that, which, that was a big selling point. When Hasbro did the Star Wars comic packs and the G.I. Joe comic packs, like, that was a thing.
Yeah.
People were just buying them because, like, oh, cool, it's the comic book and the figures. Like, it was a nostalgia thing, very much so. So we'll see. I mean, if somehow they come out at 25, no brainer. 100% buying every single one they do. But 30 is going to be I'll have to think about it. And anything over 30, it's going to be a tough call. So that's all the news that we had, believe it or not. But that's okay, because we've got a fun little segment now that is all about the man of the day, the rattlesnake. Oh, man, my soundboard went away. I'm telling you, soundboard, never again.
You will beg for mercy.
I think people are already begging for mercy, thanks to the soundboard. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin Day. Oh, hell yeah. And we're going to do a couple of segments based around the rattlesnake and how he might fit into G.I. Joe. And we'd love to hear from him. I'm actually going to bring up the comments here, because I've been feeling like I'm like out to sea, not looking at the comments and having that stupid soundboard up. So looking forward to hearing some comments on this one. Our first category is America's Elite. So the assignment was we are each going to come up with what we think would be the best scale and design for a Stone Cold Steve Austin G.I. Joe figure. And this could be anything from the history of G.I. Joe. It could fit in anywhere you want. It's your own headcanon as to how it might work. And I kept mine kind of simple because I was thinking about, the magic of Let's Freaking Go Ring when we do that segment is more often than not, it's nostalgic. It's like, oh, what if Big Trouble in Little China had O-ring figures in 1986 or RoboCop or whatever, like what it would have been back in the day. So I kind of tried to think about when might we have gotten like a mail away Stone Cold Steve Austin figure, and his big years were 98 to 2000. Like that's when that most likely would have happened. And looking at the Joe stuff that was available then, we're talking O-ring. So I'd love to see an O-ring Stone Cold Steve Austin. Could have been a mail away at the time. Most likely would have maybe a Toy Fair exclusive would have been really cool. But if you look at the figures from the time, they were doing that weird thing with the camo where it was like the airbrushed looking camo. So his little acid wash jean shorts would be perfect for that deco style. He's just got on the Austin 316, the classic shirt. He's got maybe a belt of grenades across his chest, a big utility belt. The boots are going to be like big poop kicker hiking boots like he wore. Loadout, we're going to keep it what Stone Cold might have. He's just going to have like a shotgun, maybe a grenade launcher type thing. And then he's going to include a revolver with a little Bang 316 flag coming out of it.
Yes.
And I was thinking about a hat. I would love to include a hat, but at the time, not much that was coming out had removable headwear. They didn't really get back to that until like 2002, 2003. So I don't think a hat's very likely. So that was my pick for a Stone Cold figure. What about you guys? Noel, what did you come up with?
So for mine, I also went because I'm very basic and I love my 3.75 O-rings. But I had to have the classic O-ring style. This would be like released in a modern line today, is what I'm thinking. Like it could be a Super 7 or maybe Hasbro will decide to go back and do some O-rings again. But yeah, those blue jean shorts, those jorts are definitely going to be part of the deco. He will be wearing his Austin 316 shirt, but he will have a vest over it. The skull vest that'll have a few like tactical accessories and things on it as well. But
I like that.
And of course the black boots and all that. That's all standard. But I really wanted to kind of dig into the whole bionic redneck thing a little bit. So he will be wearing his leg braces, his black leg braces, with a little bit of silver detail on them. But I'm going with the idea that he's kind of cyborg. And so he's going to have like one like cyborg little like rotating, like not rotating, but like a little red eye.
Yeah.
And I know how much you hate battle damage, but he's going to have some battle damage, like parts of like little bits of his arm are going to be like, nicked away and you're going to see some like metal skeleton underneath. So I decided to go that he is a true bionic redneck in this sense. He is the true Steve Austin.
Now, is he a Joe or a Cobra?
So he's a Joe, because we'll get into that later as well. Although, with the nickname like Rattlesnake, you feel like you almost had to be Cobra.
I know, right?
But he spent most of his career as a babyface, at least in this persona. So
most of his career that we want to remember.
Right. For his accessories, he will come with a smoking skull belt. Good call. I didn't think of that. A steel chair that's going to be like a special like spiked steel chair that he can whack a Cobra with, and then he's going to have a launcher. Now he won't be operating the launcher. Maybe Tony Gurriel will be operating the launcher. He's going to shoot cola cans at him.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, it could be like one of the old spring-loaded weapon type things, but it's just little cans, which are definitely choking hazards, but we're not going to worry about that.
Yeah. Ages
I love
ages
it.
18 and up.
I really like when you said vest. Now I'm picturing it's a tactical vest, but it has like DTA and it has the skull on the back. But I wouldn't have a shirt underneath it. It would just be tactical vest. But I like that look a lot. I would change mine to that.
That
I
was
went back
the
and forth whether
route.
he wanted a shirt, but I figured you got to have the Austin 316 shirt, and it'll come into play later too with another segment.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's the vest with no shirt is just as iconic as the Austin 316.
Yeah.
But with some of the other categories that we have that we're going to talk about, it kind of other stuff came into play, and I was like, okay, this is actually going to affect how he needs to look. But no, I love yours, and I feel like on any other character, that was the most Legion Cub description to give a real life breathing person coming onto the Joe team. So kudos. So for mine,
go ahead.
it definitely has to be O-Ring. And unlike, I wasn't thinking of what Joe was doing at the time that he came out. I was specifically thinking of the rivalry in my own head of how Stone Cold is going to be able to knock down the importance of Slaughter.
You son of a gun.
So
How dare you?
If Slaughter is the drill sergeant who takes in all the rejects and the wild loose cannons to make them into Joes, well, Stone Cold is the man of the people. So he isn't necessarily a drill sergeant. He leads by example. He's the guy on the battlefield that inspires everyone to be greater, because you're not just fighting a terrorist organization. You are fighting to save that family from a terrorist organization. You are fighting to save hot dogs and picnics and baseball from a terrorist organization. So he is going to have Big Brawlers, Tiger Force Big Brawler's torso, so that you get the t-shirt, and it's going to have the Austin 316 on it. He is going to have Steamroller's lower half, because I was thinking like, oh yeah, blue jeans, but he needs some like cargo-y type pants for battle, and he needs the ass-kicking boots. Now, even though his shirt is going to be the standard black Austin 316, his camo is going to be a blue and gray, the sort of digitized urban camo, and that comes in as a major factor a little later on. And so for his weapons, he's going to have a grenade launcher, but it does not launch grenades. Oh no, it launches beer cans.
Nice.
He'll have.
Well, I think somebody said, Scott said Yojo soda launcher.
Well, that's what I said was Yojo soda.
Oh,
Yeah,
and Reverend Scott, I see here in the chat, also mentioned it. Mm-hmm. Yep. And he will have a steel baseball bat, and that's it. Because the rest, he's a wrestler. He fights with his fists.
So I think we have definitely, between the three of us, come up with the ideal Stone Cold Steve Austin O-ring figure. And look, he'd be great in Classified. He'd be great in Hall of Fame, like a 12-inch Stone Cold. Any way they released him as officially part of G.I. Joe, I would buy it. But O-ring would be my choice. And part of the reason that O-ring would be my choice is because our next mini segment is Instruments of Destruction. So the assignment here was to repaint an existing vehicle to be Stone Cold's signature ride. And I had one in my head, but I realized as I thought about it that there are actually several options that would make a lot of sense. And we'll talk about them once we get through everybody's, because I think there's some other good ideas too. But the one I went with, and I brought a picture of it because I wasn't positive everybody would even know what it was. The Mudbuster, which I couldn't remember the name of it when like this image popped in my head, but I couldn't remember what it was called because this was past my time. But the Mudbuster, it's going to be repainted with that same airbrushed looking camo that they were doing, because this would come out at the same time as my O-ring. So this would have been like a 99 probably vehicle. And if you look at the Mobat and the Awestriker from the time, they had that same kind of airbrushed looking deco. So this would have that in a more of a hunter, because Stone Cold tended towards hunter camouflage. So it'd be a little closer to that olive drab and brown. The roll cage and all the accessories, the wheels, and then that front grille would all be black. And then it would have deco of Stone Cold's logos on the hood, on that little square on the hood, and then on the sides. And I'm thinking there was one Stone Cold, and I can't remember what year it was, because he had so many different skull logos, it's really difficult to research them. But there was one skull logo he had that was almost like Ratfink looking. It had red eyes and like kind of grin. That's the one I would put on this vehicle if it's time appropriate. But I mean, just looking at this thing, this has Stone Cold written all over it.
This
or at least it would when they released it.
And I was like, I'm sure this was one of my first picks that popped into my head. And I thought, oh, I'm sure the other guys are going to see that as well. Because it does. I don't know why, but it screams.
It's
Well, I wanted to go as close to Monster Truck as I could. And I mean, this is it.
Yeah.
Noel, what vehicle did you choose?
So, like, I started thinking grandiose, but I just thought to myself, Stone Cold Steve Austin is already associated with a specific vehicle. He's, drives him down to the ring all the time. You see him out on the Broken Skull Ranch on it all the time. But yeah, you just got to repaint the Cobra Ferret. Because he drives four-wheelers everywhere he goes. So it's the perfect vehicle for Steve Austin. And as you mentioned, that same Hunter's camo would be the main color scheme on it. It's actually like I'm modeling it after the one that he actually drives around a lot. So it's got that Hunter's camo. It's got the big 316 on the side. It's got the skulls. And of course it would come with an extra accessory, which would be that red Yojo Cola cooler with the skull on it that he carries around with him everywhere. So that would be, you'd have a place to mount that on the back. So maybe like a little slight variation to the mold so you can like peg that in on the back. And it sits behind him the whole time.
Well, and I think, I didn't really consider this, but if we're getting that figure, then with the vehicle, we're probably getting a little bit of a retooling. Like maybe it's the same figure, but with jeans or whatever. So you'd get an additional Stone Cold that went specifically with the vehicle.
I figured for a vehicle that size, like he would just be a deluxe figure that came with a vehicle, at one price point.
Yeah.
So
I think you'd want to maximize your Stone Cold output. Like maybe the single carded Stone Cold with the big accessory loadout is the Comic-Con exclusive, and maybe kind of like they did with Sergeant Slaughter, where the one Slaughter was the mail away, and then the other Slaughter came with the triple T. Yeah. So it'd be the same kind of situation where you could still get a Stone Cold from online retailer, however they'd sell this stuff. What vehicle did you come up with, Kristian?
And its name, is the Stunner.
And we got a good suggestion.
I was going to say, before we got to mine, I wanted to pull up Nowhere Man Child said, if Austin had a vehicle, why not a repaint of the 1986 Stun and call it the Stunner?
That's solid.
So mine is a larger vehicle, and it won't It won't come with a figure because of the price point, but it's going to come with a lot of other stuff that's going to make it even better. Because if Stone Cold is the fighter for the people and he's a protector, then what better way to go into battle than in a repaint of Fort America called the Basalt? And if you don't know, basalt is a volcanic rock that's found in the Antarctic. So it's a cold stone. And basalt stands for ballistic armor strike and land tactician, because it folds out into the little cityscape there. So the automatic launcher that it has, instead of the 4 rockets, again, we have 4 beer cans. I really wanted to do the little springy things so it looks like the actual, beer spilling out when it shoots. The outside, instead of the green, it's going to be, again, the urban camo, because this is the through line. Because my Stone Cold, it's a sub line within the Joe team. So that blue and gray is the unifying color. And just like Fort America, it's going to come with our fun soundboard. So it will say such things as Austin 316, 'cause Stone Cold said so. The sounds of rockets firing. And because this is still considered a kids line, Eat the Rich wouldn't be appropriate. So we're going to have Death to the Evermons.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
I love it. Throw up. I just saw Noah Manchild's second comment up there. Great.
So he said alternate vehicle is a repaint of the 1993 Mudbuster for stomping a mud hole in Cobra.
And I didn't bother coming up with a name for it, but it would just be the Mudhole Stomper. Why not? And then finally, and I couldn't get a sound clip of this, which I'm bummed out about, but I'm sure everybody else is thankful for. If you remember, there was a promo where Stone Cold says, and that's what DTA stands for. Don't trust nobody, which is one of my favorite things he ever said. So our next segment is Don't Trust Nobody, where you're going to put together a 4-character team of repaints to be deployed with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's going to have to trust them, like Slaughter's Marauders, and we also had to give him a team name. I went back and forth with a couple of different things, but I just, you know me, I couldn't resist the Bionic Rednecks. So the Bionic Rednecks are all going to have, similar to what Kristian was saying, they're all going to have a black and light blue camo color scheme, but not digital, just a traditional camo, but it's just black and light blue. The first release is going to be Stone Cold's head on the Star Brigade Hawk body. Just big, bulky robot suit, that little Stone Cold head on top. Same accessories even. Although the accessories for all of these are going to be like a metallic silver. They're not going to be the bright colors that they were with Star Brigade. Second figure, Cross Country version 2 head on the Star Brigade Duke body. It's the Bionic Rednecks. You got to have Cross Country in there. Next up, from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the Redneck Riviera. Wait, that's right? Isn't that the Redneck Riviera?
Usually Panama City, but I've heard both be called that.
Well, regardless, if you go to Myrtle Beach, you're going to find some fine rednecks, and Wetsuit is likely to be one of them. So we're going to use a Mace head with repainted brown hair on Star Brigade Destro's body, because it comes with that bubble helmet. So he's still like sort of underwater looking. And then finally, got to have some Texas representation in the Bionic Rednecks. So Wild Bill version 2 head on a Star Brigade rock and roll body. Now it's going to include a blue and black version of the Wild Bill version 2 hat, but also it includes, and this might require a little bit of tooling or something, a 1991 Hawk jetpack to go on the back of the figure. So he's still aerial. So you've got Cross Country for land, Wetsuit for sea, Wild Bill for air, and then Stone Cold leading the group. That's the Bionic Rednecks. Oh, hell yeah. Noel, what did you come up with?
All right. So my team is called the Smoking Skulls. Of course, led by our alternate Stone Cold Steve Austin. So the original figure, of course, had the jorts, the blue jorts. Now they're going to be that hunty camo. So the pants have changed colors. The leg braces are going to be now in red. So instead of the Austin 316 t-shirt underneath, he's got like the Smoking Skull design in red, and the vest will also have like red detail. So he's changed up his color scheme a little bit. He's got the camo, and he's also got like black and red and with a little bit of like maybe silver here and there, just for like a couple of small details. His team, and these are all just straight repaints of existing characters, consists of Rock and Roll version 2, Hardball, Muskrat, and Pathfinder. And they will also all be in a shared color scheme. So they're going to have their trousers are going to be that same hunting camo that Steve Austin has. Same thing. They all wear hats, so they're all going to have that hunting camo on their hats. They're all going to be wearing black boots, and most their upper deco is going to be black with those red and silver details to kind of go along with Steve Austin's look.
I like that. I like that a lot because I love a good matched set.
Yeah.
All right, Kristian, what do you got?
Okay. So get ready for this now to go what I think is full Kristian, because the other part, when I was thinking, how does Stone Cold and his protector of the people knock Slaughter and the Renegades down a peg? And I found inspiration from the Big Jim toy line, and in the late 70s, early 80s, when he took over a team called the Pack. So Stone Cold's team is called the Quarry. And these are the Joes that, while the rest of the team is fighting the big battle, these are the Joes that are running into the city to make sure that the people are safe. They're saving kids from Headman and helping grannies cross the road. And if cobras get in their way, they will stop them with their special abilities / weapons, because they each serve a very distinct purpose. And again, they are all in the unifying blue and gray digital urban camo. So first up is Dart, because his name alone lets you know what he is. So instead of now just being a grunt replacement, Dart will come with a slightly modified spirit gun, so that instead of shooting arrows, he shoots specialized darts a la Lady J. So these will have like smoke effects or knockout, anything really. And then he will also come with a shield that looks like a dartboard. It's just a crystal ball shield without the lenticular motion on it. Next up, we have a repaint of Wild Card, because I do need someone around Stone Cold who is shirtless and in a vest. And because Wild Card is a driver, he is the Mad Murdoch of the team. So he is the one who actually drives the Basalt instead of Stone Cold. And he is getting them in and out of whatever situation and area they need to be in. Next up, we specifically have the 2002 version of Nunchuck, and he's going to come with a few oversized trick nunchucks, a la Michelangelo, sort of, from the Ninja Turtles. And lastly, to me, the absolute star of the Quarry, and probably the one I had a little more fun designing the repaint for, because Stone Cold can't be the only wrestler. He needs someone that he can tag team and do duo tricks with. So we're going to take the E Honda body. We're going to put Chun-Li's head on it. The buns we're going to paint to look sort of like flowers. We're going to slap a camo muumuu over that body, a la NECA and their Golden Girls toy line. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I am finally introducing Mountain Fiji into G.I. Joe.
That's awesome.
And
that's great. I love that.
That's the Quarry.
Yeah, and I wanted to have some female representation in my group, and I thought about Scarlett. I mean, Atlanta, but she just does not sing redneck. Like,
Not
it's
at
just
all.
not. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that was fun. I think we had a lot of fun coming up with those ideas, and I think it's all like we all had, maybe except for Mount Fiji. we all had some pretty reasonable. Well, I love that idea. I think everything else we talked about is within reason of what could have happened. You know what I mean?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was
And
saying
sometimes we like to.
Too bad they never made that Honda Lou figure, because you could have put her in one of those.
Looking at
Star
all
Brigades.
the female heads that because there were other female heads I would have preferred to have used from the later lines, but proportion wise would not have fit very well with E Honda's body. That body is quite a piece of work.
It's insane. It's nuts.
So, real quick, we have Reverend Scott Stripling saying Gung Ho version 1, Beachhead, and a Jim Ross.
Oh, hell yeah.
And we have Nowhere Man Child saying Austin's 316, 3 members he renamed after kicking out Stone Cold Front. He has what suit? DT Ambush. Salvo, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So that was our celebration of the Rattlesnake Stone Cold Steve Austin on his day 316.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
And that brings us to everyone's favorite segment, the one that we go to socials and ask for input from the Audible Army. If you're following Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, you will see this post every time we're doing a live stream. It's time for Sound Off, where we get input from the Audible Army about what we're going to talk about. We got kind of just a few good ones this week. We're not overwhelmed, which is good, because we've got to review a comic as soon as we're done with this episode. From Sergeant Action, the Cobra silent missions are coming soon. Sergeant Action, I'm going to demand that you go back and correct that silent to the stylized silent version. Are they touching on any favorites, or are there other characters you would want an issue dedicated to? Well, as we discussed, Firefly, I mean, he is my favorite Joe character. It's weird to say character. My favorite Joe concept. How about that? So I'm thrilled to see Firefly. I think all the choices are exciting, and I might be stealing from Kristian here, but a cesspool could have been very interesting. because of the idea of sort of silently introducing these toxic chemicals into the environment like these evil corporations do. I think there's a story there. But did you guys see this? And is there anybody you think would be a particularly good fit for this concept?
So I was also thinking Metalhead, mainly because along the same lines as scrap iron, really, when you are that close to explosives, how much of the battle does he not like hear? So yeah, a sort of first person perspective of him is I think would be a really neat concept to run with.
Or he's like, he would traditionally be an extremely loud, like his artillery, extremely loud character, but maybe the issue opens with his equipment failing, and then he has to make it off the battlefield or out of the battle zone or whatever without his equipment
Oh yeah,
to
that would
maintain
be
a
cool.
lower profile than he normally does.
Mm-hmm. Like, how does somebody that's so bombastic and loud now have
Right.
to be quiet? Oh, I really like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was thinking about this before I even realized, who they actually chose, Firefly was an obvious choice. I think Zartan is a great choice for doing a silent. So any time where you have to be, undercover, you have to be clandestine in your operation. So I think those are
Yeah.
great choices. I can't think of anybody who would be better. I was thinking about, like, who are some of my favorite characters that you just mentioned. Scrap Iron. I was like, well, you couldn't do a Scrap Iron silent issue because his whole thing is making things go boom loudly. So, and when you said Metalhead, all I'm thinking is the Metalhead from the Deke cartoon who could never shut up. So I don't know if
We
that
want
would
him
be
to be
possible.
silent. His silent issue is just wish fulfillment.
Because I was thinking, like, you could do a real cool story with Destro, but they already did. Like, Destro was a big part of the original silent issue, so trying to avoid doing any repeats there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and there's so many characters. There's no reason to do a repeat.
Yeah.
Next up, speaking of silence, Silent Interlude. This has been touched on, but how are your collections displayed and stored? Do certain lines stay up all the time while others get rotated between display and storage? Are the lines kept separate or mixed? Do you have any themes like a Cobra Commander, Destro, or Snake Eyes specific section of your collection? I'm working on my Joe room right now, and I'm having a rough time figuring out how to best use my space. Noel is, let me put this away so we can actually see what Noel's doing here. Noel is answering your question. Whoop, that's not what I meant to do. Every single time. So there's Noel's answer. Which is obviously a dedicated Optimus Prime section.
A double Detolf full of Optimus Primes. That's really the only one character I do that with. So
let's see. Let me put that back up so we can kind of run it down. So, how are your collections displayed, stored? When I bought this house in 2005, I knew that I would need almost as much space for the collection as we have for actual living. So this whole downstairs, here, I'll give everybody a quick look. Why not? The lights aren't on everywhere, so you're not going to see everything. But and I'll do a toy room tour at some point on the Needless Things YouTube channel. But there's the stuff behind me. There's my wire's not reaching. There's the other side of the room, and I tend to keep collections separate because I have the luxury of space to do that. I guess I should have expanded my view while I did that, but I don't want to give away the toy room tour. That once we hit 10,000 or whatever,
just a little taste.
Yeah, a little tease. Once we hit 10,000 on the Needless Things YouTube channel, I guess I'll have to do that. And we're almost halfway there. So yeah, I keep things separated. For the most part, everything just stays up, but from time to time, like I've talked about before on the show, I have to make a decision that something just has to go away. My Doctor Who is in totes right now, which I hate, but it's space. You got to have space. I stopped collecting modern wrestling figures. Those are all in totes. Some of them are going to get sold. Some of them are just going to stay in totes because there are enough that are mean something to me that I want to keep. And then the only theme I've got is I've got a Batman section that's like just all Batmans, but there aren't really any other. Well, I've got a Mandalorian section, but it's within my Star Wars section, so it's not like it's. And when I say Mandalorian, I'm not talking about the show. I'm talking about like from the entire history of Star Wars, all of the Mandalorians that they made up to a point. Because honestly, once the Mandalorian became a show, that collection became less special, so my interest kind of waned in that. Because for a long time, it was like really cool and special when they would put out different Mandalorian characters based on like the Karen Travis books and stuff like that. But then they started, every other figure was a Mandalorian, so I didn't care anymore. Kristian, I know you do some rotating, right?
Yeah, because my old house was big enough. I had 2 rooms dedicated for toys, and then when I downsized my collection, and I routinely, when I say routinely, I mean probably every couple months or so. There are certain things that always stay. Like I have my Cobra shelf, um, which is just specific Cobras because obviously there's not enough room right there for everybody. My Joe shelf, when the Vamp came out, I more or less made a scene with all my Joes around the Vamp, and then it just didn't leave room for more characters. So the Vamp had to move to the photography room. I think it's sort of when it's time to rotate them, it's sort of like, oh, I miss seeing this certain figure, right? So like I just recently put away all of my Star Wars Black figures back into totes so that I could display all of my X-Men Marvel Legends. And each shelf for them is done for specific eras as opposed to just, oh, here's an all Wolverine shelf or an all Cyclops. Like I have very specific storylines and eras that they're grouped into. And then some, like I started a NECA shelf and I just put everything NECA on it. So Pee-wee is hanging out with Vincent Price. Why not?
Which makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I love that. That's great. I've got Pee-wee's on the shelf with my Sesame Street figures. Like,
oh, nice.
That's yeah.
Oh,
and yeah, I'm mentioning Marvel Legends. That's a big project I need to get to, and I might have talked about this recently. I've really got to get into my Marvel Legends section and pull out like doubles and stuff. That's a project I need to get to because there's dual doubles and also figures that I bought because I had to have a Build-A-Figure or like stuff that I just don't care about that much that I just put on the shelf. I got to do a little cleaning on the Marvel Legends shelf. Oh, and as far as storage, everything that's in storage, I've got in acid-free bags with the accessories. They're labeled and they're in totes. Some stuff, if it's fragile, I've got bubble wrap like in layers within the tote. But having said that, sometimes even acid-free bags, you end up with plastic deterioration, paint degradation. Like I have not seen a for sure way to protect your stuff if it's in storage. But I will say, do not just keep them in like Ziplocs. Like that's definitely not okay.
Yeah, I've got just kind of chaos down here in my main toy room. But I mean, I try to keep things in sections. I got my Transformers over here behind me, but you can see below that there are lots of plastic bins because this was initially just going to be my Lego room with maybe a little toy collection here or there because I didn't really display much before. But now I've got, I have my big table in the middle of the room with my Lego City set up on it. And then I have some like floating shelves that go around, and I've got a lot of the modular Lego buildings. I've got my Lego Star Wars stuff over here. On this side of the room, I actually took out the floating shelves and all the Lego storage so I could put up the Billy shelves from IKEA so I could get my Joes, because I didn't use, before we started doing this, I didn't have any of my Joes displayed at all. This just still had them in bins that had been in for decades at that point in time. So now I've got a huge Joe collection. When I acquired the G.I. Joe HQ, I was I had to steal one of the tables from my Lego City. So I had to downsize my Lego City slightly so I could set that up on a table. That and my Terradrome are on one table, but that also half blocks a set of shelves that has all my classified stuff on it, which I have completely run out of room for. So that's just chaos. I'm also just decided, for some strange reason, 2 weeks before I go on a long vacation, to just start sorting a bunch of Lego that I have acquired over the last few years, because I realized that I have those big, I don't know how many gallons there are, 20-gallon bins that you store things in. I had 4 of them full of unsorted Lego.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, just because the thing is, when I am actively building Lego all the time, I can never find it secondhand for cheap. When I'm not looking for it, it just rains on me. So it's well, I'm going to buy this because this is 50 pounds of Lego for $20. I'm going to throw this in. If I find it at a yard sale, or I talked recently about finding that bin just full of Lego on the side of the road that someone had just left out. It's all right, well, I'm going to take this home with me. And so I've acquired a lot of stuff like that, and I just need to sort it and get rid of some things. Some of the things that have a little value, at least try to sell those off to clear out space mostly, but also make a little money off of the things that I've invested in over the years.
I'm sure we've all got more stuff that we could get rid of than we realize. All right, next up, Rexero 15. At the start of the year, I started reading the Energon universe. I love Void Rivals. I'm loving Transformers. I especially love G.I. Joe. Are you guys excited with Mask coming into the fold? And yes, as we have talked about when it was announced, absolutely. We've been talking about Mask being part of G.I. Joe since this show started.
Yeah.
Because the standard was set with the IDW crossover, but yeah, absolutely, very excited for that to happen.
The Matt Tracker figure in the 25th line, to me, that was a no-brainer to bring in Mask characters, and it shocked me they didn't do more.
And if you are reading Transformers, Miles Mayhem has been appearing in that series for the listeners who haven't been reading it, and the characterization for him, especially I think it was a couple of issues back where he finally donned a mask, and I'm loving him. He is quickly going to become one of my favorite villains of all time if they keep him on this track.
Well, then we need to see that Miles Mayhem costume at Dragon Con. All right. White Vegeta. What is the counterpart to the Cobra Dino? And I'm going to assume you're not asking Professor Rockclaw's name, because that was the first thing I thought of, is Professor Rockclaw. But I guess you're asking G.I. Joe, the adversary to the Cobra Dino. I don't know. I'm just going to say Roadblock with an Ankylosaurus.
I didn't come up with which Joe, because my brain lovingly read this as the Cobra Dino. And so I was trying to remember what was the name of the saber-toothed tiger that Barney and Betty had, because that would be the counterpart for the Joe team. And saber-toothed tigers are cool.
Well, and that was my thought.
I thought you thought Dino, as in Dean Esposito, the pop singer.
Oh no, Dino the dinosaur.
24/7 Dino.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking saber-toothed tiger, and I was thinking that you would, we've done a bunch of Tiger Force. I don't know if we're done with Tiger Force, but if you would bring out a character as a Tiger Force character who comes with a saber-toothed tiger.
Maybe that's how we finally get Tiger Force Snake Eyes in Classified.
Well, we're getting them somewhere else very soon.
Yeah,
true.
Right. And that brings us to the end of Sound Off. So it's time for the last segment of the show. Now, do you guys have Joe and Tells?
I do.
I know we've probably got quite a few built up at this point. So Joe and Tell is where each of us has something to share with the camera and talk about that's G.I. Joe related. Kristian, I just saw you reach over and grab something. So guess what? You get to go first this week.
Oh, well, and luckily the mail was on my side because he showed up today like he was supposed to.
Oh, nice.
Sigma 6 Destro with his briefcase gun.
Why are his fists larger than his head?
That's Sigma 6, baby.
Yeah, he is very anime. And the weapon that is in his storage container, it's like the size of an Evangelion gun. It is massive. I like the look of him, but something I never noticed in any of the online photos, and I don't know if this will show it very well, but his helmet is actually two-toned. So it's silver chrome down the center, and then the sides going down the middle of the eyes and along like the chin line is gold. And it looks, it's subtle, but it looks so cool in person. And I want to see this in like Iron Grenadier Destro. I would love to have.
People would be furious.
I know, because they would.
If they did like an alternate head, maybe. Well, you know what though? I wouldn't put it past him to do a Sigma 6 Destro in Classified.
Better there.
Yeah, you can't really see, but Toylanta is just a couple of weeks away, so I'll keep an eye out.
So look for it, because it's a very cool design, I think.
And you know what none of us thought of? G.I. Joe Sigma 316.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay, I'll go next because this one's been sitting here for a while. I teased it weeks ago on the show, but I've got it here now. It is a purple and green Cobra Daco.
Nice.
What?
And I got it off eBay. I would assume it's Black Major, but it feels a little better than other Black Majors I've held. So I'm not really sure if anybody knows this, because it was just from a seller. It wasn't from like a like one of the Black Major people on eBay. It was just from some seller. And it's got flashes, backpack, and weapon, and the cord is like solid. Like it feels much more solid than I expected it to feel. And it is the straight arm mold, so it's got the sculpted patches rather than the painted on the side. I love it. I absolutely. I mean, purple really and green, cool. Obviously. Yeah, it's a really, really cool figure. I'm thrilled with it. It's not, it's not a real one, but it's my colors, and it's a character I've been obsessed with. So I was pretty happy to get that. I didn't know such a thing existed, but it was one of those late night. Had a few too many beverages
Too many Steve Weisers.
Yeah, too many Steve Weisers and made some decisions. All right, Noel, what's your Steve Weiser intake led you to get?
Well, this was not a Steve Weiser intake. This was out and
Oh.
about in retail intake. And I've been hitting some Rosses lately because I've been finding, I hear people find some good stuff, and I definitely found something. And I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I wish Rexship was here this week. Not Rexship. Sorry, Tom Henry was here. Because I found our answer to the modern Fang at a Ross here recently.
Oh,
for
look at that.
$5.99. We have the Real Hero Great Team is what they're called. And I figured I'd do a real quick unboxing here since I haven't even I've been holding off on taking this thing out of the package. So we got, yes, a very similar to the Fang little copter here with some camo. Looks like some very flimsy blades there, but I paid $5.99 for it. I'm not expecting the best stuff in the world. We got these nice little flimsy barbed wire fences that are some reason are packed with every cheap toy brand possible since 1985. Yeah, this has this gigantic cannon on the front of this copter here, which I'm sure will keep it flying without nosediving at all.
Right.
And a couple of nice 3 3/4 inch figures that I'm sure have all of the sculpting details and articulation one would expect from G.I. Joe, all for the
I
great
suspect
price of $5.99.
If you guys remember our Audible Interlude exclusive Force Brigade, I would suspect there's some shared parts there.
There's probably a few shared parts, yes.
Matter of fact, that may well be the Force Brigade helicopter at some point.
It might be, yeah. But no, it's like for $6, I will buy a nice little cheap little gyrocopter. Yeah, and throw it on the shelf. Maybe who knows? Customize it, whatever. Also got all these like sandbags and all these other little accessories on a tree. So
those look like some very slim sandbags.
Yeah,
but if that was Hasbro, that would tack on an extra $15 to that.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Yes. So
that is
anyway. If you're looking for a lot of these little vehicles are really really like small and underscaled, but I mean this is almost the exact same size as the Fang.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a bad find for $5.99.
I like it.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
And that's the end of the show because we all said so. That's all the show we got for you this week. Our music is by Chris Lodge of Neon Warlords. Give them a Google. Check out Neon Warlords. They produce some incredible music. Follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. While you're there, go to the pinned stories and get some Audible Interlude merchandise. And our next show here on the Needless Things YouTube channel is on March the 30th. Put that on your calendar. Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Finest?
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club. We raise money for a wonderful charity called Canines for Warriors. If you're going to be at Toylanta, which before our next live stream will be Toylanta, come by and check us out. We're going to be have some cool swag that you can pick up. You can talk some Joe. If you ever thought about dressing up like your own favorite Joe costume and want to join us, you can always check out thefinestcc.com for more details, or the Finest Recruitment Center on Facebook.
And Kristian, where can we find that toy photography you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky under the name Legion Cub.
You will beg for mercy.
That one wasn't the best one to go out on. Let's see. What else have we got here? I hate to use bottom line again, but it's so good.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
So be sure and catch us March the 30th on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Until then, yo, Joe.
Cobra.
What?